This is my first reaction video, and I mean, there's so many ways this can still go wrong. I'm confident on that, and usually I'm not confident. I was gonna say I'm not confident about most things, but I feel like I'm not confident just sums it all up better. uh, I originally wanted to start with something with like characters I'm more familiar with, like the Bowser versus Eggman one, but I didn't have the camera, I didn't have the mic, and I was just like, oh my God, wait. I it was such a good fight. There is one thing about that fight I want to talk about, but like at the end of this, if you want to stick around to see what I want to talk about that, uh, you don't have to. Be cool if you did, but like you don't have to. I tried 2018 God of War, could not get the combat system, but I have seen the entire gameplay of it, and then I did see the entire gameplay for Ragnarok. I loved the way it incorporated different parts of Norse mythology because I know a little bit about it. I like writing fantasy, so I kind of look into a lot of mythologies. So uh, the thing about Atreus being Loki, his wife Angerboda, their child being the world serpent, I was like, the way they kind of incorporated that into the God of War story was interesting. So whatever, you get it. But I know nothing about Asura's Wrath. I mean, I remember seeing this one video game rap that talked about it, but like that's about all. Uh, but yeah, gonna learn a little bit about the characters in the intro. So let's get into it, and hopefully nothing goes wrong.
Kratos versus Asura.
The Ghost of Sparta versus the Wrathful Destructor. Cause sometimes you just wanna punch a god in the face. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. In the beginning, the Primordials waged war across existence, a series of cosmic clashes that birthed the universe.
Boom! Now that's what I call a big bang!
From Ceto's death, the oceans would flow. From Uranus's strikes, the stars were spawned, and so forth. Thus, the world itself was born from violence.
Starting the whole messy cycle, Uranus was overthrown by his Titan son, Kronos, who was overthrown by his Olympian son, Zeus, who battled his own son, Kratos.
As a classic bastard child of Zeus, Kratos was left among Spartan mortals, far exceeding all among him. He became a fierce warrior, winning many a battle, until finally cornered by ruthless barbarians.
Ares, destroy these guys who are kicking my ass, and my life is yours. A deal was made, and Kratos was joined at the bone with the Blades of Chaos, a set of chain swords and basically a badass whirlwind of flame and steel.
But Ares had a scheme. While doing work for his god, Kratos accidentally murdered his own family, permanently marked by the ashes of his wife and daughter. He was, forevermore, the Ghost of Sparta.
So he was kinda understandably really pissed off. Time for a new god of war. The gods were crapping their togas in fear as the new god of war took out his rage on all of them. And got some new gear out of it too.
With Poseidon's trident and Icarus's wings, Kratos dominated both sea and sky. He also has a tendency to carry powerful severed heads, like Medusa's.
And the claws of Hades could steal souls, even the soul of Hades himself. Should have thought that one through, man.
Neither Perseus or Hercules were a match for Kratos, nor was Helios, the sun god capable of moving stars and spreading light across the entire underworld.
He fought Atlas, the Titan of Strength, who broke the load-bearing pillar of the universe. So Kratos forced him to hold up the cosmos on his own instead.
And he could do it with just one hand, according to the novelization.
Even his grandpappy Kronos failed to stop him. You know, the guy who overthrew the primordial that punched the universe into existence?
Causing shockwaves that moved over a quadrillion times faster than light, a frankly incomprehensible feat.
Then there's Daddy Zeus,
who proved a serious challenge, until Kratos drew perhaps his ultimate weapon, the Blade of Olympus.
It can make tornadoes, lightning, force fields. Oh, and it can stab the hell out of you. It siphons godly energy and can pull it up. Oh, and it can stab the hell.
Kratos, why are you drilling him? You're drilling him with a sword. Look at it.
Olympus.
It can
Look
make
at this.
tornadoes, lightning, force fields. Oh, and it can stab the hell out of you. It
was getting
siphons
drilled.
godly energy and can pull enough to even kill Zeus. Like father, like son.
Even while Kratos ultimately released hope across the Greek world, he could only do so after annihilating everything.
Like a badass, he was unstoppable, nonstop killing and sex and even more killing. And yet, he couldn't be any more depressed.
His wife and daughter were still gone. What was he to do?
He didn't know. He wandered aimlessly for years, somehow stumbling into Norse mythology where he met Faye, his second wife. Good start, buddy.
Kratos had a new lease on life, but he could not escape his past mistakes.
There's a reason he hid his swords in a dingy basement. Even so, Faye insisted he could do better. So he became a dad to a new boy.
Easily the toughest task he ever undertook, especially after Faye unfortunately died of a mysterious illness.
Damn it, not again! But hey, it wasn't Kratos' fault this time, and Faye left the tools he'd need to keep the boy safe, including the Leviathan Axe.
Far from the whirling rage of the Blades of Chaos, the Leviathan Axe was deliberate and mighty, said to rival Mjolnir itself.
Thor wishes Mjolnir was as cool as this axe. It's imbued with ice magic and a poison even the gods fear. It can be summoned to Kratos' hand from a distance, and it even shatters souls.
Kratos may have once been a sword of vengeance, but with his new weapons and a new
I'm supposed to. Okay, there we go.
purpose, he stood as a shield against the godly Asir.
Too bad he just can't help but get in trouble with gods. But now he knew how to control his anger.
Which is even more important than it sounds. Kratos' Spartan rage summons an inner strength with magical properties.
He can even get so pissed off that he straight up heals himself. That seems like the opposite of what should happen.
Not all anger is problematic, and Kratos wields plenty of new weapons and relics to channel his rage through.
Like the Dropnir Ring, which can summon a bunch of wind spears. They can absorb all types of energy and blast it back. He even has relics and magic that can warp space and slow down time.
Naturally, he contested with the strongest of the Norse gods, including the god of thunder Thor, who was powerful enough to fight the fire giant Surtur and the world serpent Jormungandr at the same time.
Oh, and that fire giant would be the cause of actual Ragnarok. You can't defeat me, Thor. I know, but he can.
Well, not exactly. Freyr, the rain god, held off Ragnarok for a considerable time on his own, and the sheer power of Ragnarok shook Yggdrasil down to its very roots.
That's the World Tree, which is like a literal tree that connects the whole universe.
According to Freya, the tree's very existence supports all of creation among its boughs. Every strand transcending time, transcending space. Everything comes back to the tree.
So it's kinda like Kratos lives in a really, really, really big treehouse.
In his quest to free the Norse world, Kratos reclaimed old weapons by reckoning with his past sins, even taking up the Blade of Olympus once again.
Even better, he actually got to be a decent dad. And now the boy is a man and also a bear.
Kratos made a lifetime of mistakes, but this future would be different. He'd be more than he was in the past, not just a god of war, but a leader, a father, and a defender, a god of hope.
Okay, they threw a lot in that. My thing is, I don't know how one-to-one the characters in the game are in comparison to the lore. So, like, a lot of the feats, which kind of weren't really specified, I feel like, I kind of noticed a thing. They don't really, like, put numbers to some of the feats in the beginning, but rather at the end. So I'm like, because it said Helios moved the star and all that, but I'm like, what's that supposed to mean? You have like Marvel characters who can move stars. How much force does it take? Is it like a natural thing, or like how does it work in game lore when it comes to feats? I could be just being stupid about this, but like I don't do calculations. I don't do all that. Like I don't do math. I do literature. All right.
This battle is sponsored by Robinhood Gold.
With Robinhood Gold, you can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on.
With
You also get national
standard distribution.
chain IRA interest rate policy. Long ago, a demigod fell from the heavens, only to rise from the depths of Naraka after 12,000 years.
After 12,000 years, he's free to punch everything dumb enough to get in his way. He was the demigod of wrath, Asura.
Alongside 7 other demigod generals, Asura served as defender of humanity against the impure Goma, dark spirit monsters infesting the world.
And the demigods battled the Goma by wielding a mystic energy formed from human prayer, mantra.
By advancing technology with mantra, the Guardian Generals became essentially hyper-powerful mystic cyborgs. They could each harness mantra through a different emotional affinity. For August, it was greed. For Yasha, it was melancholy.
I'll give you one chance to guess what Asura's is.
By tapping into his wrath, Asura can take many forms for battle, like the 6-armed Vajra, a state powerful enough to subdue the embodiment of the planet's will and the source of the Goma, Vlitra.
But he wasn't angry enough to put Goma Vlitra down for good. At least not yet. Of course, since he's literally powered by wrath, no enemy of Asura's would be stupid enough to do something that would make him even more mad, right? Right?
Funny you should say that.
God damn it.
First off, Asura is not some one-dimensional anger machine. In myth, the Asuras were powerful and aggressive beings, sure, but not inherently evil, just like Asura himself. He's a warrior, but also a husband with a daughter, Mithra.
And Mithra has the unique power to supercharge mantra energy,
which gave Asura's prideful commander, Deus, an idea. If he could weaponize Mithra, literally wiring her up to a super weapon, the Guardian Generals could maybe finally end Goma Vlitra for good.
Well, obviously Asura wasn't gonna go along with that. So Deus framed Asura for killing the Emperor, murdered his wife, kidnapped Mithra, and then just straight up killed him. What a dick.
But true to his nature, Asura was literally too angry to die. So long as a single part of his body remains and can possess mantra, he can climb back out of Naraka, a sort of limbo underworld between life and death. Thanks to some coaxing from a strange golden spider, he did just that, with an all-new purpose in mind.
Make the gods pay! Oh yeah, they're calling themselves gods now. Turns out they're all assholes who started sacrificing thousands of innocent people to try to power up. So Asura got really pissed off.
And through his rage, Asura's power exploded, rising enough to throw giants like ragdolls, shatter whole moons, and destroy a fellow deity, Wizen,
who could dwarf the planet and wreck it with just a finger. Look at this!
Asura is so powerful, his soul cannot be manipulated by the Goma or the deities. He can propel himself with mantra to fly, harden his fists to break steel, fire explosive energy blasts,
and headbutt you so hard you wish you could die even faster. The dude literally stockpiles anger into a burst of energy that can one-shot even the toughest of foes. And when he goes unlimited mode, he can rapid fire those super attacks without overheating.
Asura's vengeance quest wasn't all shouting and explosions though. I mean, it was a lot of that, but he also tried to protect people from the gods, including a girl who very much reminded him of his own daughter.
Yeah, Asura's the kind of guy who wants to be a great dad, but all he knows how to do is punch anything that upsets his kid, like that one dad that knocks out a ref at a Little League game.
And then the gods killed that girl too, along with her whole village, sparking Asura to unleash his berserker aura.
You know how the gods were sacrificing thousands of people to power up? Well, Asura got so freaking angry, he built up enough mantra to match them, even though they've been building up energy for thousands of years. Seriously, guys, you're pissing off the guy who literally gets more powerful the angrier he gets. What did you think was gonna happen?
Yet even in berserker mode, Asura never lost total control.
Berserker Asura adds even more extra arms, and they're big and glowy now. The man can launch so much angry mantra he wiped out the god's whole space fleet in seconds.
Asura's anger raised to levels so high even he couldn't contain it, scorching him into his wrath form.
Even though it hurts Asura while he's in it, this form is still perfect for absolutely shit-stomping a snobby demigod's face in. It's okay though, his brother-in-law punched the edge out of him.
Yasha saw the error of the deity's senseless sacrifices and teamed up with Asura for a coup against Deus.
Awesome! They're bros again! Just in time for Asura to hit his former boss with so much mantra that he burst. then dive into the planet's core to obtain power equal to 1,000 arms. His mantra form, finally, a power capable of killing Vlitra in a big planet-busting blast.
Deus was defeated, and Gaia was saved. Yet, Asura's wrath hadn't been quelled.
Title drop!
It turns out that spider that guided him was actually Chakravartin, the creator of Mantra and the entire universe.
And everyone's suffering was part of his plan to make Asura his heir. Chakra kidnapped Mithra, because of course he did, and tested Asura in the form of a massive golden Buddha statue. Check out the size of it! That thing can literally hold a galaxy in its palm. Naturally, Asura and the statue threw hands.
Enter the Mantra Reactor. Capable of holding 7 trillion souls, Asura instead used it as a vessel for a far greater power.
His own unfiltered rage. At last, Asura could show the world his real colors.
Everyone from the humans to the 7 deities to Chakravartin saw Asura's anger as a weapon, a sword for tyranny, when that was never who he was. His rage was really a shield to protect humanity, and most of all, his daughter.
A shield larger than a planet! Unbound by his past limits, Asura's ultimate destructor form effortlessly punched through asteroids larger than nebulas, dodged planet-sized lasers moving 2 quadrillion times faster than light, and obliterated whole stars!
Chakravartin was, understandably, impressed and offered Asura a chance to take his place. Asura smiled at the offer and extended his arm.
Right into Chakra's face! As if he was gonna let some god trample over more worlds. Instead, he literally beat the QTEs out of God, obliterating him and his plans in a cosmic explosion.
But with Chakravartin dead, so was the concept of Mantra itself. Those who depended on it could not survive, including Asura.
Hey, as long as Mithra was fine, it was worth it. Besides, he'll reincarnate millions of years later, still kicking ass, ready to smack a random thug, a meteor, or Ryu. Right in the balls!
It's interesting. Despite the dangers of uncontrolled anger, Asura's wrath gave him the power to save everything. All because of just one thing.
Some bastard made his daughter cry, so they had to pay. Now that's a god I can get behind.
Ooh, ooh. So I said I'm big on mythology. I'm big on I'm big on like some Japanese mythology, Greek, Roman, Nordic, or Norse. Uh, not too big on Hindu. But this Kratos is in trouble. Kratos is definitely in trouble. Like I also was not really given numbers on this, but like Kratos, it just hearing the story, the things he's done, like this sounds like Kratos is in trouble. Or no, that is extremely unlikely. I was saying on the unlikely point could be a tie. They could decide not to fight because they both, realize that anger isn't everything. I doubt that's where they're going to go because this would be a pretty great fight for there to be a decision on, and I feel like people would not rock with that decision. So let's just get into it.
This battle is sponsored by Prize Picks.
And of course, if you would like to watch it without me stopping, which I most likely won't be doing during the fight because I like doing like whole reactions and then I'll go back and pick out if there's anything I want to talk about. But there will be a link to the original in the description down below. So thanks.
The best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of bucks in award winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to everyone.
It's simple. All you have to do is pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash.
And when you want to find non-standard options that are harder or easier to win, just look for the little goblins. Love those little guys.
The big game is almost here, so don't miss out on the last football game of the season with Prize Picks. Prize Picks is even giving away a free pick for the game. To win, one of the starting quarterbacks only needs to throw 1 yard.
But what if they don't?
Sorry?
What if they only threw it half a yard?
Then they wouldn't be in the big game.
Oh yeah, good point. I'm in.
Download the app today and use code DEATH to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup.
Yep, if you download the app and use code DEATH, you'll get $50 after your first $5 lineup.
Prize Picks, run your game. All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data.
Why? Why did y'all do that to him? Why'd y'all do this?
All right.
Sirs, y'all know this was so unnecessary. I don't know why, but now I'm even more certain Kratos about to get clapped. Why? Y'all didn't have to do this.
The combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a dead battle!
It's true then. The god of war is on Gaia. But not for long. You do not want this fight. Run! Let your wrath consume you. I have been down that road before. Shut up! Very well. This is not my end! You deserve a worthy end! You are a monster no longer. I never was.
I did not call it. I was so wrong. I was so wrong, apparently. Uh, well, I did say I know nothing about Asura, but it sounded like he kind of had it. But I feel like part of the logic is going to be Kratos is the god of war. He has fought gods. Why'd I say it like that? He has fought gods. I can't say the word right. It sounds weird. He's done this sort of stuff before, and Asura is just a demigod, right? Technically below Kratos' like regular prey. So like yeah, let's see the explanation on this.
Oh, well, I guess Asura's wrath really is gone. But are we sure this is how it'd go? Even though Asura can blow up stars?
Asura had some amazing displays of apocalyptic destruction, but the full scope of their speed, experience, versatility, and power sheds a surprising light.
At first glance, speed seems like a shoo-in for Asura. Kratos is quick, but he never dodged a universe-crossing laser.
That doesn't mean he couldn't. Remember, as usual, we look at these characters at their peak, free from gameplay restrictions.
Yeah, we're looking at everything in canon, and Kratos fought and killed Helios, the sun god.
From the moment he's introduced, Helios is emphasized to be immensely powerful. Without Helios, darkness would shroud everything. His light was fast enough to illuminate the entire underworld while Kratos sailed through it, taking a few hours at most.
So, kinda hard to quantify, but that's consistent with the shockwaves the primordials caused that spawned the universe.
Arguments could be made for which is faster, the primordial shockwaves or Chakravartin's intergalactic lasers. Since it's so close, it's safest to assume their speeds are generally even.
But what does speed matter if you don't know how to use it? Let's cover experience. Asura lived across centuries, obviously a lot longer than Kratos.
And while Kratos eventually learned to control his rage, Asura pretty much always had that control.
So Asura easily takes experience. But when it comes to versatility, he couldn't match all the weapons and abilities Kratos had.
Sure, Asura's quite skilled and a monster at martial arts, but his fighting style mostly relies on one thing.
A whole lot of punching.
Kratos' weapons, magic, runes, relics, and even his rage gave him far more options in combat, slowing down time, healing injuries, and most importantly, multiple weapons that could drain a variety of energies, like mantra.
Yeah, when Asura loses all his mantra energy, that's it for him. So the drop near speed.
What's that bot say? Let's see. Hades and his warriors empowered themselves with souls. Ah, all right. I didn't consider Kratos' powers, like all the weapons. I did not think about that actually. Like, I was just going off like their physical attributes, and I was like, yeah, Asura's clearly got that. But like, yeah, no, versatility is definitely a thing.
Spears and the Blade of Olympus gave Kratos exactly what he needed: versatility, and multiple ways to finish this for good before Asura just comes crawling back out of the underworld.
If he could. Asura's resurrections take years or whole centuries, days at best.
But all this assumes Kratos could match Asura's crazy strength. All roads lead to power, which should go to Asura, right? Look at what he can do! If this came down to who made the bigger kaboom, he'd kick Kratos' ass in 2 seconds.
But a closer examination of their feats reveals the truth.
At his peak, Asura overpowered Chakravartin, annihilating that cosmic golden god.
By measuring the dimensions of Chakravartin's body and scaling it up to match the size of this galaxy-eclipsing statue, we can determine its volume. Add in the density of gold, for good measure assuming the form is solid throughout, and its mass far exceeds not just our galaxy, but our entire observable universe.
Destroying that big golden god would need energy on par with obliterating our universe 91,000 times.
Extremely impressive and unfathomable. However, the same idea applies to Ragnarok shaking the roots of Yggdrasil.
Ragnarok is obviously a bit of a different beast than Kratos, but what really matters is what Freyr did.
Right, Freyr, a god comparable to Kratos, held back Ragnarok's power for a significant time.
So Kratos should be capable of the same level of power, or even more.
Using an official map and knowing the world tree's branches encompass all of existence, we can measure its size and volume.
And we know this map is accurate because it shows these two realms conjoined, which we see in-game.
Even if we assume the Tree of the Realms is only 1% solid, a significant lowball that Kratos should easily scale above, shaking such an incomprehensibly large structure would require enough force to destroy our universe's mass energy 9 million times over.
That's almost 100 times greater than Chakravartin's destruction. And this isn't some one-off outlier. I mean, a realm-shattering supergiant doesn't sound too different from the other Titans and Olympians Kratos defeated.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's easy to think that we never see Kratos do anything that matches Asura, but we do. Helios' speed matches Chakravartin, and Kratos outsped him. Atlas is strong enough to lift all of reality, and Kratos overpowered him. Kronos defeated the creator of the universe in a one-on-one fight, same as Asura, and Kratos killed Kronos. Add in the clear numerical comparison of Chakravartin, Ragnarok, and Yggdrasil, and Kratos takes the edge in power.
But hey, Capcom, if you give us Asura's Wrath 2, we'll try this again.
That'd be pretty awesome.
Asura's the sun rises. The god of wrath was Kratos.
The winner is Kratos.
I'm satisfied. I'm not doing the math, so I have no reason to not believe they did the math correctly. uh, but all right, let's see what the next fight is going to be, and then what was I wanted to check out? Bowser versus Eggman. Just a little thing from that, if you're interested in knowing what my thought was.
But what if? That concludes my pitch for Asura's Wrath 2, the end. Next time on Death Battle.
Subscribe and
Ghost Rider versus Spawn. Damn. I gotta think about that. I can't do math for that, but I gotta think about that. What was the last time that we saw Ghost Rider? Ghost Rider versus Lobo. And I was surprised Lobo was still affected by the penance stare because he doesn't feel bad, but the penance stare doesn't care if you feel bad or not. You're going to burn. Uh But yeah, no, that I'm looking forward to. This was it was all right. It was all right. It was cool. I noticed with the last one, I think the last one was Among Us versus Fall Guys. I noticed in that one and in this one, their budget was in Bowser versus Eggman. Like that was that you that was a I gotta turn off my notifications before I do this. I gotta remember to do that. Uh yeah, no, Bowser versus Eggman. The animation in that you could see that's where their budget was, and these other ones, not bad, not bad, but the pacing, uh, a lot of the still shots in the last one and this one, I saw where the textures just glitched. Not really glitched, but Kratos was standing over what looks like Tab's battleground. But this was pretty. This was sick. This was actually sick. Like I knew nothing about Asura, so I kind of want to get into Asura's Wrath's lore, get into the mythology behind it because I enjoy learning about mythologies through different means. I remember talking a little bit of I think it was Hindu belief, something like that. When I was doing my breakdown for the Llamas with Hats epilogue, I believe it was Indra's Pearls I was describing because I learned about that kind of through watching the Midnight Gospel. So, um, yeah. Let me go to Bowser versus Eggman real quick. So I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to certain details in cinematography, whether it be in like actual film or animation. Uh, and if you haven't seen this death battle, first of all, go check it out on the original channel. Um, Bowser wins this, and part of the reason why he wins is because he has the loyalty of his people, and his people love him because he is a genuinely good leader as compared to Eggman, who is a terrible leader, right? And while you do have the scene in which I think it was Infinite, his name was using the what was it? The some ruby, the Phantom Ruby. He was using the Phantom Ruby to I think it causes illusions. He was using like illusion magic to mess with the Koopas, the Goombas, and Bowser was using his magic to protect them instead of protecting himself while he was fighting through. And I was like, that is a clear sign of, him being a good leader. But also, there's another hidden detail that I found in the cinematography for this, right? That shows both Bowser's good quality and Eggman's bad quality. I could be wrong. It's a very minor thing, but it's a thing that it just clicked for me when I saw it. So let me start from here real quick.
Showtime!
See, right there, Eggman took a step back. That man was scared. And you see that man, you see a giant dragon turtle lunge at you like that with his jaws open. Yeah, you're going to take a step back, but like that man is like afraid. Also, if you look real close, those little lines on their bodies, I always thought that was interesting because it kind of reminds me of Dragon Ball Z when you saw a character use the instant transmission or just any speed feat, right? Uh, I think they're added here just to kind of show the scale of their speed in comparison to their size. Like you would expect, creatures this, or I mean, Eggman's in a robot, but still, something this big shouldn't be moving as fast as it is, right? And Bowser becoming a giant definitely still shouldn't be moving that fast, but I think that's what's showing this here. But it kind of makes it look like Eggman is really nervous. Like he's shivering, but when Bowser, you see the lines on his body. For me, at least, that man looks like he's shivering with anticipation, like he's ready to go, like he's not holding back. And then obviously here we have the scene where Eggman called down the Death Egg laser at max power, and hold on, you see Bowser take a step back, just like Eggman did, but then that man charges forward. Right? Like I just love that little detail. Like it was a nice little parallel between the two, and it was just a minor thing, but like I loved seeing that little shot on their legs that kind of just showed, uh, kind of made them stay true to like part of the explanation. Like Bowser, being a good leader, like always running to the front for his people, just like he's taking this blast. Like I was not expecting him to tank it, but like God, and then Eggman being a coward, taking that step back. But that's all I wanted to talk about. Uh, if you like this video, I still don't feel comfortable saying like and subscribe, but I mean stick around for the vibes. Like I'm trying to do more I'm trying to make a variety of stuff. Thanks for watching.